Joining me right now is Julie Mabry. She's the owner of Pearl Bar in Houston. Julie, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What I want to find out from you first is just how your business is doing after not only the pandemic, but the freeze that we had in Texas. How are things?
The freeze made it a little tougher for us. We lost about a week of revenue, and that was about our make and break week. But since then, luckily, we've been doing extremely well. Our numbers are up from 2019. Being that it's Pride Month, business has picked up significantly. Let's just say we're doing way better than 2020, and we're doing even better from 2019 numbers. But it's been quite the road getting here.
To be able to say that you're doing better than 2019 and 2020, is that a shock at all?
Yes.
Okay.
If we go back a year from now, I would imagine, as I've said, everybody that owns a business was probably, I was petrified and I thought I was going to lose Pearl.
Yeah.
So if you would have told me this a year ago, I never would have believed you. But obviously, I'm very grateful for the position that we're in now.
How did you hear about the Lesbian Bar Project? Because it has identified your bar and only one other, Sue Ellen's in Dallas, as the two remaining lesbian bars in the entire state of Texas.
I think they contacted us around, I want to say April or May. Maybe it was around May of 2020. And at the time, there was already an article that had come out about the lack of lesbian bars in the United States. And I think at that time, they had counted 16 or 17. So even from that point, because on Instagram, I had posted a letter to Ellen to help save the lesbian bars. And then I heard from Erica Rose, who is the producer of this project. And from there, we just all stayed in contact and we became friends on Instagram and social media with the other bar owners. And that's how that started.
From what I understand, this second fundraiser they're doing for June is going to, some of that will go to benefit your business. How much is that going to help?
Well, all of this helps when, our bar alone lost almost $600,000 last year. And a
Wow.
lot of people are surprised by that because there's a lack of lesbian bars. I think they think that we tend to be slower, but the ones that are thriving before the pandemic, some have been open. I believe Henrietta Hudson's has been open 30 plus years. So, these bars serve a purpose to the community. But of course, anything for us helps a lot. We also received a grant from HRC and Showtime. They did a Queer to Stay initiative, and that was in the beginning. And that grant was very much needed at that time. So for all of us, I think even if it helps us pay rent, it helps us get inventory, it helps us pay our staff, they're a big help for us.
What are you hearing from customers now that your doors are open fully again? Are they returning like they were? How is it kind of faring at this point?
I would say we have more customers now than we did before, which I think is the reason why the sales have been better.
Yeah.
But at one point I had to do a GoFundMe, because our bills didn't stop. And I think a lot of people think maybe we didn't have to pay our rent, but we did. We had electricity bills, we had inventory that we had to take care of. So I did a GoFundMe, and I think in the first few days it was like at 25,000. So my customers have been supporting me in Pearl through the entire pandemic. And I think now they're just very proud to know that they were part of this and that their lesbian bar is still open in Houston. So there's a lot of gratitude and celebration. And, I'm just extremely grateful for our customers in Houston and the outer city limits. There's a lot of people here that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, people are really rallying around this cause. What gets me about the Lesbian Bar Project is that it identified only 21 of businesses
Right.
just like yours across the entire country, which is a shockingly low number. What does it say to you that that number seems to only be shrinking at this point?
There's so many facets to it. To me, a lot of it means that that people are more inclusive across the country. We're more accepted. And so from that perspective, I think it's beautiful. But on the other side of it, I think our bars are a necessity for our community, because not only do we also do fundraisers, donate within our community to support our community. There's, when women or queer LGBTQI people want to go out, there's a certain point where if they're drinking and they want to be in a safe environment where this is their home. So there's part of it that makes me happy that we're more accepted, but at the same time, it's sad because we're always going to need safe spaces, and we're always going to need to be here for our community. So it's almost like a double-edged sword.
Well, Julie, is there anything that you'd want to add that we didn't get a chance to talk about? You've addressed so much and then some, so I wanted to leave the floor open to you.
I just wanted to thank my community, first off, for saving Pearl Bar and everything they've done for us. And obviously the Lesbian Bar Project, I'm very grateful for them. Even if we aren't going to need the money, we can donate it back in. The bars that they're helping are staples in their city. They're imperative. And, I'm just very appreciative for everyone who's trying to salvage the last lesbian bars. And hopefully in the future, we'll have more of them.
Julie Mabry is owner of Pearl Bar in Houston. Julie, thank you again for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.